Okay, so let's continue the series. My name is Victor, and I'm going to be your uncle for this training. So we were earlier on talking about business process modeling notation. So it's just a flow chart, is a guide for you understanding business processes. Take, for instance, you want to buy, you want to sell, you want to depict making a purchase on an e-commerce website. You want to depict somebody making shopping in a grocery store. You want to depict somebody making less an upgrade for a particular platform. So it just tells us a framework on how we can showcase that. And from this, we can now move to doing the different user interfaces. From the different user interfaces, we can now start talking about the application itself. So in this training, you're going to learn how to create flow diagrams. You're going to learn how to also do some basic UI UX. So assess requirement changes description. So the assess requirement changes task is performed as new needs or possible solutions are identified. Because the thing is that once you have the requirements, take for instance, we want to start identify how the customer will make payments. Is it cash? Is it card? Is it prepare the item? Is it end? Or is it this is for like an eatery, right? You prepare the items and that ends. If it's an e-commerce website, he or she is going to add to cart, check out, and shipping starts. Shipping is another process itself. Now, the idea is going to be that we can have requirements that are going to change over time. People can say, okay, we don't just want cash and credit card. We want Bitcoin. We want cryptocurrency. We want pay on delivery. We want to accept a situation whereby somebody can pay little by little. So people call it pay small, small, pay in bits. So you have about 4 payment types. Now, these are requirements. And when we need to look at trying to render this solution to some new strata of the society, let's say for persons that cannot actually afford a full cash payment, then credit card is also an option. So persons don't put their money in this format. They don't put their money in this format. They put their money, let's say, in crypto. Some people might not want all of these options. So persons want to be able to pay in bits, maybe via insurance or via something. So this may or may not align to the change strategy solution scope. So you need to assess some of these requirements, how they change over time. And some of the inputs that is going to help you assess these requirements is that you need the proposed change, you need the requirements, and you're also going to need the design. Some of the elements are assessment formality, the impact analysis, and also impact resolution. One other thing I'm also going to do at the end of this series is to do for all of the sub-knowledge areas, their elements, and of course, like I told you, the tools and techniques we need for them. Take, for instance, if you look at this, if you look at each of the knowledge area, so these are what we call the elements. This is a knowledge area. So the elements are what? Plan business analysis approach, plan stakeholder engagement, right? Now, plan business analysis governance, plan business analysis information management. So you have the knowledge areas, you have the tasks, right? These are the tasks you're going to be doing. Then these are the elements. So these are the elements, right? So if we come to our requirement lifecycle management, so what are the elements? Sorry, just a moment. Sorry, I mixed it up. So this is the knowledge area, requirement lifecycle management. So this is the tasks that you're going to be performing. then these are the elements in those tags. Take, for instance, we are now in assess requirements changes, and you see each of the elements: assess formality, impact analysis, impact resolution, either you are approving, you are denying, or you are deferring. Then you see anyone that you see there's an N in it, it then means that there's an explanation, there's a note. So this is 5.412. There's no explanation for this. So you have 5.41 and 5.42. So you can look at this document, 5.41, 5.42. So here you have assessment formality of change. So it can be predictive, it can be adaptive. Then you have evaluate implication. You want to align it to strategy, you want to deliver value, you want to look at time and resources that's required. You want to also look at risks, opportunities, or constraints. Then 5.42, so you talk about impact analysis factors. What's going to be the cause, the benefits, the urgency, or the schedule, and of course, the impact. So for each of the knowledge areas, you have the tags, then you also have the element. Once we're done with this, next thing we're going to talk about is approving requirements. Because one thing I do when I try to deliver solutions is that, so these are the guidelines, right? So one thing I try to do, and of course, these are the techniques. And I say the techniques are these guys you see at the end of the day, all of this, right? These are the techniques. So like I said, we're going to run each of the techniques separately for you to use case studies to like learn how to do. For instance, you should know how to do a business model canvas. And we're going to evaluate most of these templates. Now, one thing I do, just a second. One thing I do when it comes to requirements gathering or looking at the life cycle of my requirements for any project I'm doing, I always want to make sure that the requirements are approved. Because if requirements are not approved, people, stakeholders, we get to either deny the requirements or bring in requirements that you didn't approve or didn't accept during the planning stage. In project management, we call this scope creep. Scope creep. Just a second. We call it scope creep, right? So there is awesome need for you to have approvals of the requirements that you have. Once you don't have those approvals, you're going to have issues. So scope creep is adding additional features or functions of a new product, requirement, or work that is not authorized. So we're talking here about requirements. You want to deliver a solution to enhance, let's say, ergonomics in a workplace, to improve work health kind of balance, to make sure people are delivering better value, people are comfortable. You want them to have a cup of coffee. You want their seats to be nice seats and all of that. Now, you're going to have those requirements and have those KPIs to deliver that value. Now, you need to be certain about the requirements, and those requirements have to be accepted. We talked about cost. We talked about constraints. You have less than $100 working chair. You have those that are up to $1,000. Now the question is, will those requirements be accepted? Once they are not accepted, it becomes an issue in project management. We call that scope creep, because later on in the project, that can now be added, and that might halt the business change we're trying to create. So requirements are approved, requirements which are agreed to by stakeholders and are ready for use in subsequent business analysis effort. Design approved. Designs which are agreed to by stakeholders and are ready for use in subsequent business analysis or solution development efforts. So because most of the times, even when we have requirements that have been approved, in future projects, we can still call up those documents. So if you have questions, don't forget to ask in the group or the training group, or ask in the comment section of this video. Okay, so you have some review questions, and I'm going to move on to the next series, which is strategy analysis. So this is one knowledge area that is very, very key. So because here you want to you want to look at the different strategy that you can explore to cause a particular business change. So in this knowledge area, we are going to be looking at, just a second, we're going to be looking at identifying strategic, tactical business needs, response to those needs, assess risks, align change strategy to other level strategies, right? Because you can have a very top management level or strategic goal. You can have other business goals. You can have growth goals. You can have maybe goals that are aligned to maybe your employee, maybe their comfort in terms of work. So you have different levels of strategies. Now, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be analyzing current state. We want to know where the business is at this particular point, or that particular value we want to deliver. How does it affect, or how does it make better the situation we are in currently? Then we want to define our future state. The next thing we want to do is also assess our risks, then define our change strategy. So that's where we're going to be looking at business case. Then we're going to be looking at scope of work. Because it's very critical, it's very important that after you have analyzed a particular business challenge, you've gathered the requirements, you've done elicitation, you've looked at the life cycle of those requirements. The next thing you want to do now is to start suggesting solutions, is to start looking at strategies. And before you look at strategy, there are several things you have to explore, things like the business need, the organizational structure and culture, your capability, your capacity, what can you do, and your business processes and your business systems. Because that will tell the best strategy that is going to work for you. Because what works for the growth of business A or product A or service A might not necessarily translate into working for business B. So those are the things we're going to be looking at Module 6, which is strategy analysis. Thank you very much, and see you in the next series.